Well, this is an interesting one because my sister-in-law tried to absolutely sabotage my career because I beat her for the job. Hi, my name's Josh. I'm 40 and male. I'm engaged to a beautiful and loving woman who's 32. Her whole family is so sweet, and I get where she got all her charm from. They all love me except for my fiance's younger sister. I don't really know what her issue with me is, but I know that she totally despises me. Let me not make it about her because this is my story. My family is one of the wealthier families in our town, and they do whatever they feel like doing, whether it's wrong or right, and their biggest fear and weakness is their reputation. They never want to hear our family name in vain ever, or being portrayed in a messed up way. My father always wanted me to take over the family business when I'm older, but I told him I have bigger dreams, and I didn't want to be tied to the family chain or just running the firm and die doing it. I wanted to explore stuff, new things. I wanted to live a different life, but I never had the intrepidity to talk back at him because he was almost a heartless man who would do anything to keep the business going. He wanted the legacy to simply continue. Dad owned a ranch where we would always go with the family for holidays, and it was fun while it lasted, until one day when everything changed. I was 14 years old, and I did not know what I was capable of hurting a soul until that day. I'll not get into details as I've told the story a million times, but only in my head. I can't find the right time and words to explain what happened that day. Up to today, that memory haunts me, and I really want to tell Lorinda before we get married, as it might be the reason we divorce someday. Everyone's forgotten about it, but I can only try. It's painful to think about, truly. But I cannot seem to forget it, not even for a second. I think about it during the day, and I dream about it at night. I know how you feel drained by the mystery, but I'll talk about it someday, I suppose. I'll be getting married in 2 weeks' time, but I've not opened up to my fiancée to tell her about the incident. I already feel like a bad husband. My mother will kill me at any age if I tell anyone about it, because all that matters is the family. Sometimes I wish I was not born into my family. They have strict norms to be followed, and they're full of mystery. You find out about something weird every single day, I'm telling you the truth. My family is simply full of secrets, and it becomes awfully exhausting for one to learn something new about his or her family every single day. Oh well, this is the family I was born into, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's not that I hate my family, no, I just hate their lifestyle. After the incident, we had a long-lasting fight that went on for almost 2 years, and that's when I went to my own ways and be excluded out of the family wealth. Even though it was painful to leave at first, I was glad I was finally out of the bondage of my family and their stupid norms. And the only person I really missed was my mother. I thought of her every day, and I tried to sneak into the house just to see how she was doing. I was on my own. When I went to varsity, it was hard because my father had thrown me away and he refused to pay my tuition fees. But one day, I went to take part in a regional commercial quiz competition, and on that same day, I got a sponsor. I was so thankful. He did not only offer to pay my fees, but he offered accommodation and a paid internship. I could never be more appreciative to him, and that generous man turned out to be Lorinda and Sonia's father. He was like a father to me too, and then I met his oldest daughter. Immediately, he was like a father-in-law to me, LOL. Lorinda took my breath away. She's not only the walking definition of true beauty, but is also therapeutic just looking at her. Because she helped me get better, and when it came to me thinking about what I've done, some people listen to music for therapy. All I did was look into her beautiful face, and I'll soon be getting married to her. I just wish I could get the strength to tell her about it. It's going to be very hard, but I have to tell her if I really want to keep her by my side. My biggest fear is that she might not want to do anything with me after I tell her. Thinking about it, I'll have to keep it from her if it means keeping her by my side. I can't afford to lose a treasure like that just because I'm trying to be an honest man. I guess I'll hold on to this secret for longer than I thought. Well, I have to go now. I've invited my family, and I really don't know if they'll even show up, but I hope so. Even though I chose to stay away from them, I would still appreciate their presence at my wedding. It's going to be the best day of my life, and I would like for them to be there. I'm already struggling to put together this wedding as I don't really have money at the moment. Although Christopher has offered to handle everything. It's my wedding and I don't want to make a bad impression of myself. She would even start thinking that I only accepted to live with them for their money. I have respect for Christopher and I appreciate every little thing that he's done for me, but I want to do this for myself. Sometimes I ask myself why I'm even getting married, because I can't afford her at the moment, but the love I have for her is saying otherwise, and all I want to do is spend every night with her and wake up to her sweet face every single morning. Also, to convince her father that I'm serious about us, I have to put a ring on her finger. Well, I'll update you guys about how my wedding goes. Ciao! What's up everybody, Mr. Reddito here. So this story is a very unique timeline. Update number 1 did not come out for an entire year and a half. As you can imagine, quite a lot's happened in OP's life. Let's see exactly what's going down. Update number 1. I would not say my life has been entirely bad, but I've been through a lot lately. Well, firstly, my family decided to not show up for my wedding, and I must admit that it's not the nicest feeling at all. I can't believe that my father and mother missed my wedding as if it was just some sort of small occasion like a birthday party. It was my wedding, for goodness sakes. At least now I know where I stand in my family's lives, and I'll never step foot in that house again. After my wedding, I snuck away from the party and went home to ask them why they did not take part of my wedding. Just because you invited us does not mean that we're going to just show up like puppets. Our time's too valuable to waste on your shenanigans. I want you to leave my house now. You made your decision years ago, and I never want to see you in our house again. You become dead to me the day you left. I wasn't shocked by what he said, but I was furious with him for missing my wedding because of a misunderstanding that we had when I was a child. He was being unreasonable and childish. At least, if he did not want to attend my wedding, he should have allowed Mom and other family members to attend. All my siblings did not show up as well, and everyone at the wedding looked at me with pity as none of my family members came. How would anyone feel if they went through some situation like this? Anyways, I left their home and vowed to never step foot in that house. Since my siblings have also decided to follow Dad's footsteps and to cutting all ties with me, I'll not be bothered if I miss their important occasions as well. They've made me an outsider, and they clearly showed it to me when I went to ask them why they had not attended my wedding. I'm not going to feel pity for myself because they neglected me completely. I'll live my life without regret of ever leaving home. I've told my wife about what happened years ago, and she's not talked to me in months. When we go out, she pretends as if everything's okay. Then we come home and she goes straight to bed being mad. I don't blame her though. It was shocking for her to learn that her ideal husband's a criminal. 2 months ago, she came to me and said she wanted a divorce. I was shattered to hear that from her, and we just got married a year ago and she already wants to get divorced. That is exactly why I wanted to keep it from her. I do regret telling her now, as much as I regret doing what I did years ago. I tend to mess up everything that I come into contact with. I really don't know what to do. I love Lorinda, and I would never want to lose her. She's been my reason to live without going insane. I'm still haunted by regret and guilt, and if she leaves me, I will go crazy. What do you guys think I should do at this point? I obviously can't run back into my father's arms to cry to him, and even if I could, I wouldn't, because I know that he's capable of having Lorinda killed to protect the family secret. I don't know what's so special about them that they think they can just do anything they want and get away with it. Well, I've made my choice that I would never go back to my family, and nothing's going to make me change my mind about it. I know that my dad will feel victorious if I run back to him and ask him to help, and I'll not let that happen. Anyways, I've been trying to get a job for the longest time now. I love being my own man, and so I decided to leave father-in-law's company to find a job where I am not highly favored. This will help me a lot as I'll grow and learn a bit. I went for an interview last week and I received a call yesterday to inform me that, in fact, I got hired. I'm so excited for my new job, I can finally give the world to my darling wife. I just can't wait for my first paycheck to get here. I'll spend it all on her every dime. I was unable to give her the best wedding, but I'll make it up to her now. now that I found a good-paying job. She's still not talked to me, but I know that she'll definitely talk to me when I give her the good news. I can't wait to see the look on her face. I miss seeing her pretty smile. And the fact that we sleep in separate rooms now, it just hurts me. I feel like she really is serious about this divorce. What would I do without her by my side? I honestly don't know how I would live without her by me. I feel like my job's mostly the only good thing about what's happened in the past 1.5 years. I wasn't really in a good place. I just needed to work hard this month so I can spoil her. She needs to know how much I love her, and what will happen was just an accident. I really wouldn't do what I did if I was in my right consciousness. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I have to find a way before she decides to make it formal and leave me for good. I don't want to sound like a desperate man, but I long for her love every day. Even the biggest and most dangerous beast deserves to be loved, right? So, can't I just get loved for who I am? I did one wrong thing in my life, and now I have to pay for it dearly. I've already been punished for it in jail, then my family decides to forget about me, and now my wife is not talking to me and she's seriously considering divorce. Sometimes I feel like I'm cursed. I just hope that she does not divorce me and work out this issue and get back to our beautiful love. Well, I'll update you guys soon. Update number 2, 6 months later. Hey guys, it's been 6 months since my last post, and I must say that I'm on the verge of exploding. I have my sister-in-law on my neck, and on the other hand, there's an anonymous person threatening me. Let's start with Sonia. It turns out she also studied the same course I did, and I had no idea that we were competing against each other for this auditing job. I'm grateful that I got it, which also just shows that I'm way better than her. I don't even get why she does not want to join her father's company. Christopher's the nicest man I know, so I don't get what issues she has with her father. I always forget that it's Sonia I'm talking about. She has issues with everyone, and she hates everyone as well. Well, she's been breathing down my neck recently, calling me names and anything imaginable. She says I've taken her job and she'll do anything in her power to make that post open again. I wasn't bothered by her threats, but it gets worse every day, and I'm starting to believe that it's actually true. She's tried to cut the brakes of my car, and I was almost in a horrible accident. I know it was her because she did not seem worried when I was in the hospital that day. I left the office late because I had a lot to do. As I walked out of the office, I heard some weird sounds coming from the parking lot. I stood quietly and looked around as nobody was there. I walked towards my car and a person ran away from behind the car. I ran after him to try to stop him, but he got away. It didn't cross my mind that he was actually doing something like, cutting my brakes. I assumed it was just some hungry thief. I drove out of the parking lot, and at the intersection where I'm supposed to jump on the road, the car wouldn't stop. I could not believe that my life would just end in a blink of an eye like this. I had no choice but to let everything happen. I was freaking out and had no idea what to do. The driver who was passing by saw that something was wrong and he shouted at me, "Let go of the acceleration pedal." Immediately, I let go and the car moved slower and slower until it crossed the whole street and hit the pavement. I wasn't hurt, although I hit my head on the steering wheel pretty hard. People gathered around my vehicle as I struggled to pull myself out of it. An ambulance came by and took me to the hospital for a normal checkup. Lorinda showed up at the hospital immediately after she heard about my accident. I knew that even if she didn't want to talk about me, she still loves me as much as I love her. She ran into my arms and started shedding tears, and that was the day everything changed between us. She was mad at me, but the thought of her losing me was way more painful, I guess. I couldn't thank Sonia enough for it, because if it wasn't for her, I would still be leaving home without a kiss goodbye from my loved one. The investigations are still ongoing about who attempted to kill me. It looks like Sonia was very smart and made sure to cover all the tracks well, but I know the truth will come out no matter what. Earlier, I mentioned the anonymous person threatening me. Well, this guy has been using me as his job, and I don't know how/he found out about my juvenile case, but he's using it against me. I don't get how the whole universe is mad at me for getting a good job. He threatened to expose my family and I for stealing my case and dropping all investigations. For the past 3 months, I've been transferring a portion of 35% of my monthly salary. I don't know what to do. I can't involve the police, as the public will find out that my dad, well, he'll kill me then. I know I said I don't give a darn about what my family thinks about me, but if this goes public, my father will literally kill me. And possibly my wife as well. So I'm trying to deal with all this alone. I was supposed to have learned a lesson from my wife not talking to me for over a year, but I can't afford to endanger her life. I'll deal with this on my own, and I've been trying to figure out what person it is, but it's harder than I thought. I regret ever saying that I would never run back to Dad for help. I feel like I'm running out of options. I've hired someone to track down every time he sends a message or calls, but we keep failing. I hired a private investigator, but still, nothing. I don't know who could possibly be doing this to me. It's draining. I keep lying to my wife, even when it's so obvious that I'm hiding something from her. When I find out who it is, I'll make sure that they'll never forget me ever again. I'll make their lives a living heck. That's a promise. My father-in-law's worried about me. He keeps calling me and asking me if I need money. I've become my own man now, and I cannot accept anything that he's trying to give me. Now that I don't want it, or that I'm drawing away from him, I just want to be self-reliable and just do my own thing without feeling like I owe something to somebody. And I just hope that he'll soon understand and stop insisting on helping me out financially. I'll update you guys soon about this anonymous person. Update number 3. A year later. I finally found out who was behind the anonymous threats. It's always been Sonia. That piece of crap, who does she think she is? One day she came into my office to ruin my day. We got into an argument as usual, and she said something that got to me, wondering what she meant. She said this: "I really don't care if you have this job, because you get to work for both of us." I kept overthinking and trying to understand what she meant by that. I later realized what she meant. She said I worked for the both of us, which could only mean that I get paid for the both of us. I couldn't control my anger when I realized exactly what she meant. I went to confront her, and she had the nerves to laugh in my face and admit it with no shame at all. So I punched her in the face a couple times before I came back to my senses. She was laying on the ground in a pool of blood. I started freaking out, and I called Lorinda. I could not continue lying to her anymore, as the truth was going to come out anyways. Lorinda came fast, and she was shocked to see her sister in a pool of her own blood. She looked at me with confusion and rage and asked, "Did you do this to my sister?" I nodded with shame and fear, and she later asked me why I've done it. I explained to her as tears rolled down my cheeks. After the explanation, she stood next to me and said this: "Stop acting weak, honey. You only did what you had to do. She went too far with her stupid games. Not everything is about her. I know she's my sister, but she deserved what came to her." And then Lorinda hugged me. I felt so lost that I could not stand myself. I could not explain exactly what I was feeling because it was a mixture of bad emotions. As I speak, I've made another enemy because of beating Sonia. As much as I regret beating her, I'm also glad that I did it, to put her in her place. Christopher now despises me for going rogue on his daughter, but she pushed me too far. I wanted to open up to him, but Lorinda stopped me and said that he would only use it against me and expose my family and I to the public eyes. Well, our families are now at war as they want us to get divorced. I have no idea how Dad found out about the anonymous threats, but I know that it did not make him happy at all. He wasn't bothered by the fact that I have to give away a portion of my salary, no, but he was bothered by the fact that the truth was almost revealed. All he did was lecture me about how careless I am, but I must say that he has also seemed to be glad to see me in one piece, even though he didn't admit it. Life has a funny way of reuniting families, don't you think? My dad thought it would be a good way to keep an eye on me if I went back home, but My wife was not allowed to enter our house as they believe that she's a spy sent by her father. They also started believing that she's the one who told her sister the truth. I only stayed at the house for a few days, and my father lectured me every single day. It was like a poem that he revised, but it was so exhausting and annoying. I could not stay away from my wife, and so we decided to run away from our families and just give life a new look. Just the two of us. But I know that Sonia will never let it rest until she gets me back for putting her in her place. Well, we bought a new house in town about 50 kilometers away from home, but I always went back to work as I couldn't afford to lose my job. It was our only source of income. Christopher has no fault in any of this drama going on between our families. He's just a caring father who's trying to protect his daughter. Little does he know that his daughter is one heck of a silent killer. But oh well, he'll soon find it out, and it'll very much kill him. I'll be back with updates, friends. I have to go now. Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Redito here. Fourth and final update. 2 weeks later, here it is. Hey guys, I know it's been only 2 weeks since my last post, and I must say that things seem to be falling into places. I finally won my father-in-law's love and trust again, all thanks to my wife. Last week when I came to work, Sonia came to my office and caused quite the scene. She threatened me and said she was going to expose us in less than 2 weeks. If I wanted her to stop, I had to apparently go live on social media and apologize for assaulting her. I couldn't do that, as all I did was defend myself, and if I had to record the video, I would have lost my job. I can't do that at any cost. Either way, I was going to lose my job if she had exposed me, but I guess everyone has their secrets. I went home that day and told my wife about how our lives were going to end. I had no idea that she knew her sister's secret. Lorinda looked at me and said, "Our lives are not going to end like this. I'll be back soon." She went outside, and as she went to make a phone call, she did not trust her sister, and, well, she knew that it was going to go down since that she had prepared to fight back. She hired a private investigator to keep an eye on her sister, and it turns out that her sister was not only getting money from me, but she was also stealing money from her father's company through the company's accountant to make a life for her broke boyfriend. Who would have thought that she's also brainless? I cannot believe that she thought a life with an ex-con was possible. She used the accountant and made him do all her dirty work, and that explained why she never wanted to be a part of her father's company, because it would be very suspicious. Anyways, Lorinda made a call to her father and told him everything her sister had done. She later sent the investigator to send proof. Y'all should have seen Sonia's face. Her father was disappointed that he did not hesitate to get his daughter arrested. He wanted to teach her a valuable lesson, and he thought that prison is the only place to correct her. After all, prison's a correctional facility. LOL. Maybe it's time I told you what happened a few years ago, right? Here it is. My older brother Victor was a sports coach at my school. He was coaching the girls' football, and one of my childhood friends, Maddie, did not know what extracurricular activity to join because she was all alone, as my whole group of friends included me. We had all something to do after school, so I told her to try out football. She followed my advice, and she was getting good at it, and she was liking it as well. My brothers and I would always compete, and he wanted to show me that he's the bigger man, so he decided to hit on Maddie. He told her all the nice things that a young innocent teenager wanted to hear, and as stupid as she was, she believed him. Every single word. He later got her pregnant and told her to stay away from him. He even kicked her off the team. Maddie was devastated, and she did not know what to do. She couldn't even open up to us about it, although we could clearly see that something was wrong with her. I decided to host a party at my father's ranch. All my friends came, and we were having a blast. We all decided to go for a boat ride. We were all high on drugs and alcohol, as my father had paid the cops to never take me in if I host a party with alcohol. I was given permission to do whatever I wanted. Maddie was acting weird. Little did I know that she was planning on recording a video to upload it online about how my brother forcefully slept with her. She was telling the truth, except for the part where she said it was by force. I caught her doing it and we started fighting over the phone. She struggled and was heated and she fell off the boat. I had no idea that she couldn't swim or of the friends saw her and screamed. We all laughed thinking she was just pulling our legs until we noticed that she was actually not pretending. So we all screamed and went to pull her out of the water just to see. She was already gone. All I was doing was saving my brother's butt, but I have to pay for doing it. He's the one who took advantage of a minor and I had to clean up his dirty mess. He could not let Dad know because he knew that Dad was going to be oh so disappointed. In the end, it was not worth it because the truth came out in a much more dramatic way. I took the blame, all alone. I didn't even tell Dad that Victor was the cause of what happened. I took every single ounce of blame and it's haunted me for years. I was taken to prison for a year and I became a free man, and that's when I decided to never step foot in my father's house again. I had to take all the blame of a grown man who only wanted to make his father proud. Well, that's when Sonia found a way to threaten me because she found my juvenile record and police office. She then manipulated him into helping her with the threats. They even shared the money from my salary, pieces of crap. At least justice is now served and Sonia's exactly where she belongs. I think that's about it on my life. Quick question though. Am I the a-hole for always hiding things from everybody? So this story was just full of disasters left and right. I would say I felt sorry for OP in some parts of this story, but let's be real, he wasn't the best of a human. He was hitting a girl, beat her up, left her bloody on the floor. I mean, that's just not right. Let me know your thoughts though, guys. My official vote for this story is everyone sucks here, and everyone's the a-hole. I do want to know your thoughts about it though. We could break it down into more details, but this story was so much to cover. Let's talk about it in the comment section, guys. That's all the content for today. I want to thank you for joining me in today's video. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day, so you're guaranteed to at least find one story you like if you stick around. Thank you guys once again. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.